This is part 2 of how to use the sign out book. One thing to keep in mind, when we do fill out the tabs with the person's name, we already went over how to do that, but remember to keep in mind to fill out both sides of the tab. You want to be able to find the person going forward and going back, so you want the name on both sides of the actual tab. When you look inside, something I didn't cover before is there is a darker line every 8 sessions in the book. What that means is when you get to an 8th session, it's a little reminder to you and to your client that you want to take measurements at that point. So the back of the sign out sheet is built in a way that every time you get to an 8 session count, you can flip right to the back of that page and take the weight, body fat, and the measurements again at that point so that you can keep track of progression. Sometimes when you train a lot of people, you start to forget that some people haven't measured in a while. So using that marker, that every 8 session marker as a guide to measure them again, is just a good little reminder when you're so busy training a lot of people. You don't have to use it every 8 session. You can do it sooner, but I would say don't use it later. You know, don't go 20, 30 sessions without measuring, because you want to catch the, either problems or progression beforehand to know that you're doing the right thing, or if you need to switch things up. Other things to keep in mind. There is also a sheet that we like to keep in the back of the sign out sheet. If you can see right here on this side, you have some notes. This is the initial meeting sheet, or anytime that you go over any new goals, injuries, anything like that. We like to just have a sheet here that has their original height, weight, body fat, phone number, just all of their information. When somebody comes in, the salesperson normally just uses this little clipboard. It's a blank one. This one has a little bit of information from one I did earlier today. And this is just a way to go back and remember some of the first things that this person mentioned, right? So they might have mentioned that they had an injury or some specific goal or a date that they had in mind. We like to keep it in here, place it behind the sign out sheet, so every time you go in there, you can look through your notes and keep nice notes on that person that you're working with. Again, as you get busy, you get to these amounts of clients that it's just a little hard to keep track of. So we try to find as many ways as possible to keep it simple and efficient so that we can just keep track of every person that we're working on. If you ever need any of these sheets or tabs, the tabs and the sign out sheets are all in the file cabinet right behind me. So the top one it's titled the manager file. The bottom one is the personal training file. We're always going to have one that's labeled personal trainers file. So you go down here, you open it up, and everything that you need as a personal trainer is going to be in there, at least to keep things going. So if I come in here and open this up, the contracts are in the front. You don't really need that since we keep the contract copies up top. But if you look at the blue sheets here, they're labeled 1 through 24. 25 through 48, and then we got the ones that go up to 60. So depending on how many sessions this person signed up on, we have the right amount of numbers. So you pull that out, and there you go. You have a blank sign out sheet with the measurements tabs in the back. Also, you can go back here in the office copy sheets. There is something called a sign in tabs. So you can come in here and you can actually find the tabs that we use for our clients' names inside of the folder. These, you don't have to cut them. They are pretty long at first, but you just fold them in half, and then you write down the name on one side and the other side, and once you slide it in, you'll have the name on both sides. Anything else? That is pretty much it. Other tabs are in here as well. If you happen to need extra tabs because you're going over the clients that you have space for in your book, new ones will be added. Everything that you need will be in there as well. If it's not found in there, then talk to the salesperson or manager in charge, and they will give you the information and the sheets that you need.